Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with Channel Disturbance. This is the AMX ELC Biz, or ELC AMX Biz, depending on when you join the game. It's a tier 5 French light tank. It's located on the south spawn of Prokhorovka, and this one is under the command of Red Dog Alpha 1. And he sent us in 2 replays with the AMX so we can actually enjoy it. It's a great little tank. Game on. Well, this tank was designed or started design in 1955. It was part of the Engin Léger de Combat, which is a light combat vehicle, a contest by the French to actually design a tank that could actually be airlifted. There were 2 companies involved in the contest, and well, one of them, AMX, came up with several designs. This is one of them, the ELC. Well, the AMX ELC as it came up with, and there's one of these actually a prototype at the Musée de Blind in Saumur, France, which is a really great museum, the French Tank Museum. Very much like Bovingdon in terms of they've got huge numbers of really excellent vehicles to look over. This one is armed with the 90mm gun, which, as you can see here, is capable of doing 240 alpha, penetrating 120mm of armour. Well, he spotted that Skoda, and he did pick up the spotting assist, 560. Didn't open fire because he didn't want to give away his position to the enemy. If he had opened fire, there's a pretty good chance the enemy would have fired back and his usefulness as a spotter would have been lost. Now, the bad thing about the 90mm on this tank is that you can't pivot it out of a narrow arc of fire. That makes it fairly difficult to handle. In actual fact, in the real tank, they had the same problem. The gun can only be traversed 15 degrees either side of the centre line, so you've only got 30 degrees to work with. It'll penetrate 120mm of armour with standard armour piercing. We've just spotted the enemy light tank, an A20. And with the armour piercing rounds, the APCR rubber, it'll get through 150mm. So decent pen and a high velocity as well, reasonably high velocity, which means that what you point at and when you shoot normally gets hit straight away. Some shells, some light tanks do have a slower shell, such as the M41G90GF, and that you have to take that into account, since you might have to lead the target with the shells. Now he's moving up. Oh, he's been spotted. He needs to get out of this spot now quickly. Yeah, he's taken a hit in the tracks from the M10. He's had to burn his repair kit, and now he's taking fire from some of the other enemy tanks. But he has picked up a spotter medal already for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage. And 2 enemy tanks just died thanks to him spotting them, the M10 RBFM and the DSPZ. The trouble is the enemy knows he's here now and they're firing on him. There's a T67 out there somewhere. He's being very courageous. He's moving up on the enemy, getting really close to them, and he's now unspotted so they can't see him. So he can go back to moving up surreptitiously, or stealthily I should say, on the enemy. His teammates are joining him actually. They're coming up the road quite quickly, so he might need to get a move on, otherwise they're going to pass him. Knocking down the tree will tell the enemy there's something here, but they can't see him, so they're not reacting. There's 8 enemy tanks still in the game, so there's bound to be 1 or 2 directly ahead of him right now. View range is quite good on this tank. It's 360 meters, but it's quite usual for players to actually have binoculars or coated optics to actually increase the view range so you can get more spotting in for your team. Now, my trick would be to go down into the dip here to his right and go shooting along in the dip, because it will force the enemy tanks to reveal themselves, and at that point he can start spotting them. His teammates will start shooting at them. They'll be focusing on him, but his teammates will then get the shots in that they need to finish those enemy off. Gradually moving up. There's 3 enemy Artys in the game. We know 2 of them are the other side of the battlefield. One of them is probably over this side. Well, there's Matilda Black Prince, and he is going to go for a shot, I think, because he's got the bush mechanic in his favour. Oh, he got the kill! 107 hit points, nice shot, right into the side of the Black Prince. There's more than one enemy over here though, and the Arty's firing over here now as well. Well, no one else has been found over this side, and we know that the enemy Fifi, the 105 FH18V2, was spotted over the other side, and there he is. He's actually in sight. Very vulnerable position. Dialing in. Oh, he got the kill! 237 hit points. Nice shot. He let it dial in, made sure that the shell was on target, and then he let loose. Oh, we got a bathtub. S35CA. A lot of French vehicles in this game. That was... It looked to be a direct hit, but we lost sight of the bathtub just before he fired. I don't think it killed him, but it certainly did badly wound him. He could probably fire a blind shot in. I fire it in just behind the bush. There he is. I think he did hit him because he did lose hit points. Okay, he's got a patrol duty now for being the only one spotting 6 enemy vehicles while they were damaged. There's only 2 enemies left. The Su-122A and the Gorilla. Now, I thought one of the Artys would be over the west side of the map, but obviously I was wrong. And both Artys are over the other side. Now he's reloaded, he's ready to go. And there's the Gorilla. He's actually down this side now. He's at close range. The wreck's in the way. That's why the Gorilla can't fire at him. And he takes the Gorilla kill, which means he's got a Pascucci's medal. Now he's only got 1 RC left, the Su-122A. Probably a reasonable guess that he's up the far end, up the far east side of the map. Okay, it looks like the Panzer T25 is going to get there before we do. Top speed on this vehicle, 60 kilometers an hour. Yes, he is over the east side, and he's just been killed by the Valiant. So, although there's no more kills for Red Dog Alpha 1, it is a victory. Here are the results from the first battle, and it's a first class tanker for Red Dog Alpha 1 in the AMX ELC biz. He managed to get a Reaper for getting consecutive kills in a row with 1 shot each. He also managed to get a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage, a fire for effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle, a Pascucci's medal because he got 2 enemy SPGs in 1 game, and he did get a patrol duty as well for being the only one spotting 6 enemy vehicles whilst they were damaged. His win rate from that game, 2,511, which at this level in this tank is Super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at team score. Well, he's a little way down the table because he didn't get a huge amount of damage in that game. The highest damage in the game was actually done by the KV-1 on the enemy team, who got a Pascucci's medal and 1,664 hit points. And the second highest damage in the game was actually the Su-85 on his own team with 1,181. Third highest damage went to the enemy Fifi with 1,079, and of course Red Dog Alpha 1 claimed him. And Red Dog Alpha 1 managed to pick up 534. When it came to kills, he's near the top on this one because the top scorers were the Su-85, who managed to get 4, so did the KV-1. And 3 kills went to Red Dog Alpha 1 and the Fifi on the enemy team. When it came to base XP though, he's right at the top because he was spotting as well as killing. 855 base to him, 589 went to the M7, and 547 went to the KV-1 on the enemy team. He fired 4 shots in the game, got 4 direct hits on the enemy and 3 penetrations. 534 hit points of damage, of which 237 were at more than 300 meters. 2 hits received from the enemy, 1 penetration, 1 non-penetration. Yes, he was lucky. One of his shots fired at him by the enemy when he was spotted up on the bank on the far west side of the map actually hit the tracks, so he actually narrowly avoided getting a bad bit of damage from that M10 RBFM. 5 enemy vehicles spotted, 3 enemy vehicles damaged and 3 killed, 2,315 hit points of spotting assist, and that's a really good game for anyone. 22,656 credits for the game, and after repair and ammunition resupply, 20,964 profit, 855 base XP, no multipliers, so that's all he takes away. So that's the end of the first game. First class, a Pascucci and a Patrol GT. Let's see how he gets on in the second game. And here's the second replay, and this time round we're on the south spawn of El Halluf, and we're still in the AMX ELC biz. Now the other big problem with the having the 90mm gun is the reload time. Standard reload is, well, fairly long compared to the 75mm gun. 14 seconds is what it takes, and you can see Red Dog Alpha 1's got it down to 13.23. Now he spotted a T-37, but he wasn't spotted himself when he went there. He has got 6 cents. Getting close to the enemy's side. This is very good position actually. Now that T-37 has obviously gone into the bushes on the mount, and now he's spotted an SU-100 and a P-43 Beers, and it allows his teammates behind him to get good shots on those guys, possibly get some damage, and he's getting some spotting assist. Yep, that's working. Now, Wargaming are a little generous with the AMX ELC with the 90mm gun, because in reality they can only carry 36 shells, but in this game they've actually given it 44, so you've got more ammo to play with in the game than you actually had in reality. It's a 2-man crew, commander who's also the gunner and the driver. It's a very small tank as well, so they need, the French forces needed to actually recruit small people in order to fit into it, and so they have plenty of room. He's been very stealthy about moving up, and he's got to worry about that. Oh, spotted another one, Panzer 3-4 or Panzer 3-4. Yeah, because that T-37 is behind him. He was killed. Oh, he's not behind him. He's actually been killed. I missed out on that. Okay, so now he's got a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000. 1,007. He's getting closer and closer, and the enemy still hasn't seen him. And that box tank up there is about to die if he pops out much more. That Panzer IV's got to be a bit of a problem, so's that Leopard. If he does try to get closer to the enemy up the cliff at the other side of the valley, then the Panzer IV H and the Leopard will probably be shooting into his rear. They're obviously having difficulty trying to get up that slope towards our guys, and in fact one of our tanks, a Type 64, is actually blocking them from coming down the slope. And those tanks are taking sufficient damage, and you see they can't get unspotted, and they must be wondering why they cannot get unspotted. In fact, they might actually think that they are unspotted, but they're not. Arty should be able to get shots on the Panzer IV, and I would think probably that Cromwell as well. And the Leopard's gone down to the T-3485M on our team. He's just at the base of the hill, just the other side, we're this side. Panzer IV's getting close. Red Dog would have to turn to face him. Will he go for a shot? He can. And he takes him out with 1 round. That's the good thing about having that high alpha, that 240 alpha. Really does make a difference when you get a Panzer IV like that who's already taken some damage. Well, the battle is still going on in the northwest corner of the map. Nothing decided over there, but there is a P-43 Biz who's gone missing somewhere in the valley. Now you have to turn around and change position there because they've got an SU-100 and they can probably fire on this guy. He's dialing in. Tries around. We don't know if that hit, but it didn't kill him. The P-43 Biz has been spotted. He's trying to come up the slope and... oh, he's just wiped out our box tank. Okay, it's going badly for us at the moment because we're 2 tanks down on the enemy, but that could change. We lost the Type 64. The Cromwell's still down somewhere in the valley, but we've got a T-34-85M and he's coming up behind us. Not in the biblical sense though. Oh, that's a terrible joke, isn't it? Yeah. SU-100. Dead SU-100. Oh, he was seen. Okay, now he has to move because the enemy does have a box tank up there, and of course we've got to worry about that Cromwell. And he does a quick bit of manoeuvring to try and throw them off just in case they were watching. And he's going to try and get up the slope, but he might take some fire from the Cromwell, who's down there in the valley. A long way away. He's sneaking up to try and find the box tank. Oh, he's found one of the enemy Arty. Okay, now we can take him out with a nice careful shot. Doesn't get the kill, but he wasn't spotted. The enemy's capping at the other end. And we're going in for the close kill with the M41. You need to get really close with this 90mm to make it effective. And he does, and kills the M41. Now he's after the Gorilla. Now I suspect he's over here. I agree with Red Dog Alpha 1. His most likely place for the Gorilla is sitting over in this corner. If the M41 went one side, the Gorilla's probably gone the other. Now he'll probably get really close to the Gorilla before he lets loose. And he's not here. Okay, well he's well and truly boxed me. He might be down in the village, just down here. Question is, does he go for the cap? I wouldn't go for the cap. Oh, he's found the Gorilla, yes. He was in this corner, but he's had to change course. You don't want to go through the building because that will slow you down. But you do want to get close to the Gorilla to get an accurate shot when you're on the move. Gorilla's not moving. He fired one in at point blank range, but the Gorilla's now going to turn towards him. And has, but that long reload can be a real pain, but he's loaded and he gets him in the side and puts that round right into the engine bay, and the Gorilla's out of the game. So that's 2 Arty and that's a Pascucci's. He's now got 4 kills. Now the enemy box tank still hasn't been found. They've stopped capping because the P-43 Biz has gone into hiding, or is changed. He's actually probably come. No, he hasn't come back. He's going back into the cap. It must be the T-34-85M upset him so much that he had to move position to hide. With luck, the T-34-85 will get the resets. The Valiant's there as well. Have we got a shot? No, the rock's in the way. Now the 90mm round with its decent penetration should be able to go through the armour of the Valiant with just a standard armour piercing. He hasn't loaded the APCR. He's got 120mm of penetration. That's more than enough. And at distance, he can probably take out the P-43 Biz with one shot. And that will get rid of that problem. The P-43 is a one shot now for both of us. The T-34-85M and the Red Dog Alpha 1. The Valiant's a little more of a problem for the T-34 because, well, if you've got a low roll, going for the P-43 first. He is still capping. He's to our right. He's to our right. We're going for the Valiant instead. Dialing in. Took her round in the side. Yeah, and that was a 90mm round from the P-43, and we don't want him to reload and do the same again, and he has. And we have to burn the repair kit to get out of the way of his gun. He's about to fire again. I think he was trying to save the T-34, and that's why he went for the Valiant. I would have gone straight for the P-43 Biz, stopped the cap, and then come up for the Valiant afterwards. But because he's on the move, difficult target on the... Oh, he gets tracked and he's got no repair kit. And the Valiant dies, but the P-43 is going to get another shot. And that's the end of the game. Yeah, that's the problem with that arc of fire. Very difficult to get a shot if you get tracked. Bit like a tank destroyer in that sense. And once you've burned the repair kit, you've got nothing left. Let's watch the battle as it's now going on. The T-34 P-43 Biz is wiped out by the T-34, but he's only got 78 hit points left. And now it's just between him and the box tank, and we don't know where that box tank is. Now there's 5 minutes, so there's plenty of time for the T-34-85 to go over to the other side of the battlefield and start capping. But he might want to stay over this side just in case the box tank is already on his way. And he is already on his way. He's here. And now this is where T-34-85 needs to get out of the way of that gun because, yeah, he's blocking the shots. Move. Move. Don't let the guy get behind you. Avoid the pointy end. Oh, he gets the kill shot. One shot. And wins the game. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was another first class tanker for Red Dog Alpha 1 in the AMX ELC Biz. He got another spotter for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage. This time around he got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. Did get 4 exactly. He also got a 5 for effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle. And yet again another Pascucci's for killing 2 enemy SPGs in the game. But just look at the win rate this time. 7,416, that's Super Unicum and quite a bit more. And I think that's really basically because he was doing so much really good spotting, and then he went on the offensive and helped his team to win. I think he picked the wrong target to go after first thing at the cap area, but I'm sure he realises that now. Better to take out the P-43 because he has a 90mm gun, whereas the Valiant only has a 75mm. And of course the P-43 was capping and he had low hit points, so he would have been a one-shot kill for Red Dog Alpha 1's 90mm gun. But it all worked out in the end, and he got, I should say as well, he got 8 spots in this game, 8 spots. He was 1 tank short of getting a spotter badge or a scout badge as well. So he would have had 2 medals out of this, but for the fact he missed out on 1. So let's have a look at team score and see where he is. Well, the high scorer in this game was actually that P-43 Biz, and he picked up 3 medals of Pascucci's, High Caliber and Top Gun for 2,491 hit points. And the second highest damage in the game actually went to the T-34-85M with 2,278 and a very nice end shot to get that box tank. I was a little worried that he was going to miss the shot again and get wiped out by that big 13cm gun, but he made it certain. He picked up a Spartan, a Top Gun and a Defender for resetting the cap. When it comes to the third highest damage, that actually went to the KV-1 on the enemy team with 1,346, most of that earned over in the northwest corner. And the fourth damage is Red Dog Alpha 1, so yes, he's fourth on this time. 1,094 went to him. And when it came to kills, it's actually shared. Oh no, it's not shared. What am I saying? It's the P-43 Biz again. He got 7 kills. If Red Dog Alpha 1 had killed him, he'd only have a Top Gun, but he still would have had a medal. And well, Red Dog Alpha 1 would have had 1 more, and possibly he would have been able to platoon with the T-34-85M to pick up a Brothers in Arms. It was the T-34-85M who got the other Top Gun. He got 6 kills, and 4 kills went to Red Dog Alpha 1, so he's third place on kills. And when it came to base XP, it's the T-34-85M. He got 1,362. He's the only player to get over 1,000. But Red Dog Alpha 1 was very close with 937. And the third highest in the game was the P-43 Biz that killed him with 739. He fired only 8 rounds in the game, but he got 7 direct hits and 7 penetrations, which is good with the 90mm gun, mainly because it's very difficult to get accurate shots unless you're stationary and you take your time to dial in. 1,094 hit points of damage, and all of it was done at close range. 4 hits received from the enemy, 3 penetrations, 1 non-penetration. It was the non-penetration shot at the end that made him stationary, and that gave him the easy kill to the P43 Biz, who actually got the other 2 shots. I think it was 2 shots or just the 1. I think it was 2 shots, and I'm afraid he was out the game. And when it came to vehicles spotted, he spotted 8, as I said, just 1 short of getting that scout medal. 5 enemy vehicles were damaged, 4 were killed, and he did 1,584 hit points of spotting assist. He earned 37,734 credits from the game, 18,867 from personal reserves, total of 56,601 altogether, and after repair and ammunition resupply took away 52,204 credits profit. 1,404 XP and no multipliers, so that's all the experience points he took away. He says almost invisible, 4 kills later, maybe. Well, he was very, very good in the centre. He picked an odd spot to actually go to. Quite an interesting spotting position in those bushes at the bottom. It kind of acted as a counter. I think he went to that position mainly because the T-37 came into sight, and I'm not sure if he actually did see the T-37 killed. I didn't, and I thought he went to that position because he felt that from there he could not only spot the enemy on the other side of the valley, but he could actually keep eyes on that T-37 just in case he came up behind him as well. So very good spotting position, great amount of damage, well 1,584 in a tier 5 is not bad for spotting, and of course he got the win in the end and he managed to get that Pascucci's. If you enjoyed those replays, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And we've got more replays coming up from Red Dog Alpha 1 and some other players as well who've sent them in. In fact, as you know, I've got a very long list of players awaiting replays, and I'm trying to get through those ones who sent in a whole bag full, because it's very difficult when you get sent a dozen replays all together at the same time. It's difficult to get them all done straight away, and so you try to get them in a sequence so people can enjoy them one after the other. But I will get around to them. I keep my list. I don't miss them off. So if you have sent a replay in the last 3 months, it's probably still in my list. I'd say it's definitely in the list, but it might take a little while to get round to it. Thanks very much for watching.